We are the reality distortion fielding. We are the reality distortion fielding. Feeling. We are the reality distortion fielding. What? It's radio? Science? Brain? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Radio, science, brain. You know, the idea that it would be quite unexpected and maybe, it may even stun to think that nuts could be truly new under the sun. It's true though. Stunning as it is, nuts do come. Nuts have come. Nuts will come. Nuts welcome. Nuts become. New under the sun. New under the sun. New under the sun. Nuts to you, nuts to me, nuts to all, nuts to everyone. New under the sun. It is about to become radio, science, brain. This is an elemental experimental review chronicle. I pull off wool, imagination aid, mindful, imagination aid, kind yarn, cool pull for the main line of imagination aid campaign in love's name, radio science brain. This is an activation. Mind is made this campaign combination. The main line contains radio science brain germane. This is mind innovation in one frame or many intersecting in brain containing actual clarion ace, aid mind made, anti-displacement radio science brain. From my brain This brain activates this brain anytime, any place. Contain this contagious ache I make to mandate radio science rain from all brains to all brains. It is activation aid. Radio science brain germane mind made this container from pain. Radio science brain pretend the mindness made you the way your name could take, like wings to make your dial stay steady. Your mind made ready, contain this capable ace. This is the mindless stasis. Imagine we race this, imagine we brace this, imagine it saves always. Radio science brain imaginade. Mind made the same to contain this master case. Uppercase, lowercase, we are caseless, become mindless, become kindness, kindness, mind make. Forsaking, tolerate all but intolerating. We are the mind is made this forsating. Imagination may just sate, may just complete, may repletely collate. Dialed main and saying your name. Made this radio science brain relay. Kindness came today to stay, to play and ask away. And you wait because kindness can levitate, and you are the flyer flying flights to flame. Here, kind place, relay this night. Relay this radiac, hypnotic, living in a radiac in the stack, this packed under your parasol. Carry all, it's intact. Radio science brain substrate, placid, contain this act, imagining, saddening, it's gladdening. I'm capitalizing on love's campaign. It's drinking my nature to cave in hate's campaign. It's belief in love's veins. Radio science brains. It is something else. What if a different ecosystem sprang into view? What if we heard the actual music of Star Wars too? What if music in films of places that have never heard our music, as far as we know? Maybe. May or maybe so. But why wouldn't music exist in a different way, though? And Radio Science Brain tends to be a game in ways, and a playful space, and a nebula for finding ideation for other things, other songs, and just a general spreading and filling out of many facets and places along the field of ideas that are Radio Science Brain. I believe it would be helpful to move from Marjorie to, oh my goodness, is that, hey everybody, it's Burgles. Burgles, wow, this is a fantastic up close view. Holy you, Burgles. Wow, a wowsin' stadiums, Burgles. It's you in the sesh. Wellensteins, Burgles and Marjorie. Burgles and Marjorie together. That's nice. That's how sweet. How sweet. You two. You two. Well, we have icebergs here of dim approach. Here's Burgles. Burgles is really close. Burgles has hitherto been showing up, like actually in the portals, in these, such as this doorway here, or this portal here, or portals there, or here, or up or down or around, or over there as well. And there's up, and there's also that down there. There are all kinds of, there's this portal, of course, right there. All kinds of portals. And also there's, let's also mention this portal right here. There are so many portals, and of course there are billions of portals. There's here. Definitely there's portal there. Point being, Burgles is a lot closer. I don't typically get this close to Burgles because at scale, the size that Burgles actually is, wherever Burgles actually is, I would be much larger. Well, I would be the size of the Statue of Liberty, essentially. That's how big Burgles is. That this would be the hand of the Statue of Liberty compared to the size of this iceberg. And so, let's say it, Burgles is very close. I'm concerned that what we're looking at here, I think that it is entirely possible that really, like, you know, just straight up, like what we are looking at, possibly, this is my hypothesis, is that Burgles may be the falsehood, that or the oncoming malicious attacks of far-right extremists working to sow devastating totalitarian, authoritarian dictatorship with transgenocide and subjugation and scapegoating of gay people and basically everyone besides white men. That a push of a sizable amount of white supremacists and people similarly friendly, at least, to that idea somehow, which to me sounds like white supremacists, that there's really a massive danger due to, in fact, not merely dog whistles, but bullhorns with announcements and web pages for Project 2025 and Agenda 47, that I think we're looking at our chance to stop fascism in this century. And the chance has a shrinking runway. If we don't stop it, it may be decades or centuries. And it may cause our inability to steward humanity from environmental collapse of our place in the habitat. We're not going to disintegrate Earth with what we're doing. But we are going to disintegrate our bond with it if we prove that great a parasite. And if we have, essentially created chemical parasites that are slowly murdering us and making tons of money for somebody while we choke and watch ocean collapse, while wrestling with people who won't level with us. Like, we really have to step into stewardship now, because this is the danger, I think, that we see here. I think it's possible. It's possible that what we may be looking at here, in terms of, we see Burgles, and I think what Burgles might be is Project 2025. I think Burgles might be an attack upon America to sow a Nazi paradigm here. And that if we don't awake as the new Colossus, as the fully woke new Colossus, aware enough that we can actually love our neighbor as ourselves, if we can do that, then we will be able to deal with Project 2025 before it is come to pass. We can stop these Nazis. We can stop these Nazis of Project 2025. And it really, could it be a clearer Could it be clearer? That we are looking at the Nazis in the form of the Heritage Foundation and Project 2025 against the forces of love, against the fields, against the human fields of love, that we are, I think, preparing to refuse to allow humanity to be dragged into a meaningless and stupid as hell violence. That, there's not a reason for us to deign to violence, except for to protect. And I think a problem comes into play where we see that Marjorie Taylor Greene and others are trying to sow lynch mob violence, are trying to sow loss of executive function within the population, within our people, so that we don't critically listen to, if we're not critically listening to claims by people, and we're allowing people that are playing on deference of knowing us, or we're from the neighborhood, or we're white so trust us. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene essentially is trying to use whiteness and white privilege and white deference, and that is white supremacist patriarchal terror. That is the bandwidth of harm. That is what we see. That, it is woke versus Darvo lives in Darvo land, Darvonald. We are dealing with malice versus kindness. Hopefully Elon Musk has some success with finding mental health support right now, because clearly the rupture in Elon Musk's psyche and the unmasking of dark triad, predatory, narcissistic, psychopathic malice and hatred of self and of humanity, those death threats that he's leveraging by essentially telling humanity to fuck off, or that the boundary of, a boundary laid in front of, anti-Semitism and Nazism is a boundary that he instead reacts to as emotional blackmail, and that he will jut his neck out like a turtle-bodied cobra, totally unmasking his venomous, eyes turning black, narcissistic, triggered predator. He has you have no ability to regulate yourself emotionally. It's not about controlling. Eventually it is, but it's not about controlling. You don't have to wrestle yourself. This isn't something that you're necessarily going to find in, like first-person shooter games for hours and hours and hours, and an insistence upon not having emotional connection. It's really important, Elon, because I know you're listening. It's really important to be able to be alone in a room without advice, except maybe a timer, just to allow you not to have to worry. That's helped me. Having a timer so you don't have to worry about, am I doing this for long enough? Am I doing this well enough? Am I excelling? Is this genius? Am I the superstar? just do it because you deserve to listen to your brain. You do have a good brain, Elon. And it's worth hearing you. It's worth hearing yourself. It's worth hearing yourself, Elon. I think maybe we'll come back in a bit with a broadcast for you, Elon, because it's worth listening to you. You are worth listening to. And I think it's a crime for you to take away from yourself so much time when you could be listening to your actual mind. Not with Neuralink and not with pictures of Red Bull and not with Andrew Tate marathons and not with Manifest Destiny. With being able to be alone in a room with your own mind and know that it's not just survivable, it's actually humankind. You are one of your own kind. And you don't have to feel alone when there's no one else in the room because you are one of us. You are one of yourself. You are one of your own kind, Elon. You are one of your own kind, Elon, and you belong. And it's time to stop trying not to belong. Maybe. Right? I mean, why not? And this is radio science brain. Boop, 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 boop. Godzilla has a cell phone call. Godzilla's phone is vibrating, and that's not all. Okay, how about like that? Smaller. And there we go. And let's just, there we go. Yay. All right. And there he is. It's Burgles, everyone. Oh, Burgles, you incorrigible Nazi iceberg. I fear that's what you are. So let's work together, humanity. Let's work together to deal with the pathogen of intolerance. Because these people, these Nazis, are all vulnerable human beings who have been infected with a terrible, terrible, terrible affliction of cancerous intolerance. And these people are worth saving. These people are worth helping with healthcare and support and whatever we can do to give access back to the table of human family to people who have fallen into a cult of white supremacist patriarchal hatred and terrorism, cloaking the matrix of white supremacist patriarchal terror is not a great cult to be a part of. And we want you to be safe. We want everybody to be safe together. Tolerating cancerous ideologies being spread and tolerating something like Project 2025 is simply not on. And so, because these Nazis are working to come on, we need to kick them off. Like, kick them off the playing field. It is not acceptable for white supremacists to have purchase or place in positions of power. It's not acceptable. And certainly not in law enforcement, not in the military. We need people who are not enemies of the mission of protecting us all as an equal and, through equity, assured equality and pursuit of happiness, each and every one of us. If we're at odds about, are we all on this and part of this, it doesn't work. We can't allow this pathogen to continue to, take more generations, to indoctrinate more generations into recloaking all of these lies. It was that bad. Enslavement was that bad and worse. Genocide was and is that bad and worse. And rather than talking about how not bad it might have maybe been if somebody who was a terrible oppressor, didn't murder someone quite so bad, but what are we talking about here? We have to deal with the actual reprehensible violence and subjugation and widespread community-based terrorism that happened with white fire. It's time to process our American apartheid. It is time. Only a cowardly nation would recloak the matrix when we are the new Colossus, able to deal with this, our American apartheid. We can deal with these Nazis. We can and we will. Why? Because we love you. No one gets left behind. Humanity is awake to the idea that love your neighbor as yourself is how woke comes alive. Being aware enough of what's going on in the world around us that we can love our neighbor as we love ourselves. I don't know of a better definition of woke as far as I'm aware of it. And I would say that any negative connotations being leveraged at people or the idea of being woke or of wokeness are coming via bigotry and coming via scapegoating of the same ilk as the Nazis. To scapegoat, as is now happening with trans genocide underway now, to scapegoat as has happened for centuries with Jewish people, to scapegoat as has happened with African Americans and with indigenous people, to scapegoat as destroys and builds narcissistic palaces of myth that are false. When in fact Love's campaign is just here, and we can be that. We can just make the world a bit better. I think that we're addicted to punishment, and that if we realized we would actually be more fruitful and multiply and just be a bit happier. Like, not utopia, but just a bit happier if we did not capitalize upon human need, but allowed ourselves to flourish even more by having no punishment dungeons anymore. And when people need help, finding the kind of help they need. And learning through that process all the kinds and ways in which we can be help and be that loving deed and be the thing that grows forests and grows libraries and grows the opposite of greed works, greed is good, greed. Because greed stole the throne of simple and just human need. And that's the worst crime that we could ever hold in deed. I say, radio, science, brain. Who, you know, who is the falsehood? Radio, science, brain. Why, it's so simple. What? Why, it's been there all along. Why? What? That's been the codec? all along? So is that the codec that came from Krypton? Is that what we're talking about? Is that... Is that what's on? Right? 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 What? Burgles. Burgles, we're having an episode. We're having an episode, Burgles, of Mystery Font 42. I wonder what's going to happen. I'm going to try something